The first wave of free agency just ended. We've seen quarterback switch teams. We've seen wide receiver switch teams, and that's going to impact our rankings. So today we're going to bring in our quarterback rankings. Dak, start us off on our S tier.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on this QB1. It's still Josh Allen. You combine his throwing ability and his rushing ability. He's the top player in a Superflex Dynasty league. Like, I'm not going to say he's incredible. Keep it at that. Jeff, who's your QB2?
QB2 is Patrick Mahomes. The big addition for him was Marquise Brown on an incentive-based deal for a little bit of money on 1 year. An upgrade from what he had. Nice pairing for Rashee Rice. It's Mahomes. I'm not going to go too much further. Dalt, who do you have a QB3?
I think QB3 needs a little more of a talking point just because people will disagree with that. We have Jalen Hurts in our S tier. This is purely because this is based off a 4-point passing touchdown format, and Jalen Hurts rushes the ball in the end zone more than any other quarterback. He is incredibly good at it. Some people might argue he's good at getting his ass pushed. Either way, he's good at it. He scores a ton of points for your fantasy teams. He's one of the best producers of fantasy points we've ever seen at the quarterback position. He's got an elite offense around him. They got Saquon Barkley, which is going to only help him. He's just a great player. Great to have. Dak, who's in A tier? Hey guys, real quick, make sure to subscribe and like the video. We're trying to reach 100 subscribers, and when we do, we'll be giving away a free roster review. Now, back to the video.
Yeah, so A tier, we've got Lamar Jackson, especially in a 4-point passing touchdown. Those Russian quarterbacks get pushed up the rankings. Lamar, obviously, he's a better runner of the football than anyone else at the quarterback position in the NFL. And he has the arm, especially to pair with that rushing ability, and he creates a really good dynasty quarterback. He's produced for years, has 2 MVPs under his belt. He's a great quarterback. We have him starting off the A tier. Jeff, how about QB5?
QB5, we have CJ Stroud, quarterback for the Texans. He was really good last year. He didn't have Tank Dell for some of the end of the year when he got hurt. He's got Nico Collins, Tank Dell. They re-signed Dalton Schultz in free agency. They also brought in Joe Mixon in free agency. He doesn't really catch the ball, but he'll just help keep everything moving on offense, give Stroud more opportunity to throw the ball into the end zone. Great rookie season. Things are looking up for CJ Stroud. That's why we have a QB5. Dalton, who do you have a QB6?
So running up the A tier, we're going to have Joe Burrow, one of the best passers of the football in the entire league right now. He's got Jamar Chase. He's got T. Higgins as of right now. We don't know what's going to happen there, but either way, he's going to be a good producer because he's a great passer of the football. Just a great player to have. Can't say much bad about Joe Burrow. Maybe lacks a little bit of that elite ceiling. Not sure if he's ever going to put up those insane numbers, but he's going to be a great quarterback for years to come. Dak, who's in the top of the B tier.
Yeah, so starting off the B tier, we've got Caleb Williams, who is very controversial. If you looked at our comments in previous videos, a lot of people don't like him. People don't like him on Twitter for his attitude, I suppose the attitude issues, all of that stuff. But the fact of the matter is he's entering the best landing spot that a rookie quarterback going #1 overall has ever been in. You've got DJ Moore to throw to. They just brought in Keenan Allen, which bumps up Caleb Williams' value even more. Cole Kmet's there. They just signed DeAndre Swift too. It's a really good offense. They just got rid of Justin Fields, so it's definitely Caleb going there, especially in a 4-point passing touchdown format too. He's got good rushing ability, almost great rushing ability that people definitely sleep on. They haven't seen his tape in college. He can really run the ball. He's up there probably like a top 7, 8 rusher of the football. As soon as he enters the league, he's really good. So that just provides an even better floor for him and an even better ceiling. Caleb Williams is going to be a great player when he enters the league. We've got him starting off this B tier at QB7. Jeff, you got a QB8.
QB8, we have Anthony Richardson, who last year, when he did play football in the beginning of the year, was one of the craziest producers of any quarterback. Could be even top 3 when he was healthy and playing. But injuries got him again. Injuries got him in college. Oh, some like to say he's injury prone. It's a little early to make that designation, but that also is baked into why he's QB8. The Colts just re-signed Michael Pittman, which is obviously going to help him. He has insane rushing upside. In a 4-point, he has a bit of a boost because he's got that extremely good rushing ability where he can get into the end zone at any time. They have Jonathan Taylor. The offense is just really good. He's really young. I'm a big Anthony Richardson fan. We are a big Anthony Richardson fan. We have him here at QB8. Dalton, who do you have at QB9?
So QB9 is probably the player that took the biggest hit from free agency is Justin Herbert. His offense has a bunch of practice squad players on it. I'm not sure he's going to throw the ball to. They were all ass. But, they have a top draft pick, so hopefully they will give him some sort of help, whether it's Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors, maybe even Marv. Whoever it is will definitely be upgraded, whoever they have. We do like Herbert as a talent. He's a great passer of the football. He even has, sneaky rushing upside. But, good player to have. Has the really bad offense right now, so maybe won't be the best producer. But, solid player. Dak, C tier.
Starting off the C tier, we've got Kyler Murray, a guy who hasn't quite hit the expectations that people had for him, whether due to injuries or just not playing well enough. Nonetheless, he's still a really good quarterback. He has that rushing upside that you like in a 4-point passing touchdown. They just got rid of Hollywood Brown this offseason, but they're definitely going to bring in either a Marv or Malik Neighbors in the draft. So I'm not worried about weapons at this moment. They still have got Trey McBride as well, great tight end. So yeah, we like Kyler. Definitely should be completely healthy this year. Yeah, we're gonna have him starting off the C tier. Jeff, who do we got next?
QB 11, we have Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Love stepped into the role nicely this year. His first year starting once Rodgers departed from Green Bay. He seemed to have learned everything nicely. Matt LaFleur, great coach to work with. Even with an army of wide receiver 2s and 3s, Love was pretty damn good. Threw a bunch of touchdowns. They brought in Jacobs to help the offense. Hopefully, they bring in some more weapons during the draft to help out Love and continue to bolster his fantasy production. But for right now, we have him at QB 11. Really nice spot for Love. Dalton, who do we have at QB 12?
QB chose me Jaden Daniels, another rookie at OSU. Daniels and May, we had them back to back. We don't know which one's going to go where. It's probably going to be one of the Patriots or the Commanders. Whoever gets the Commanders is probably going to get a bit of a bump. Whoever gets the Patriots is going to get a bit of a bump down, right? Right now we have Daniels over May, strictly because of rushing upside. Daniels is going to come into the league and be a top 5 rusher already, maybe top 3 rusher already. He's going to have that insane upside that we'd see out of the likes of Lamar, the likes of Richardson. And that's what we like to see in a 4-point passing touchdown league. So Daniels is going to be our QB 12. Dak, we got 13.
Yeah, like Dalton said, we have Drake May next. Drake May doesn't have the rushing upside that Jaden Daniels does, which is why he's not above Daniels. He's probably a better quarterback in general than Jaden Daniels. He could go to the Commanders. He's probably the better prospect. Right now, the betting odds do have Daniels going there, but it's still March, so it remains to be seen who goes where. But like Dalton said, the rushing ability is what's keeping May below Daniels. He's still a really good passer. He's a really good prospect in general, and he is a good runner in his own right. He has a nice rushing floor, not anything crazy, but it's a nice couple points a game you're going to get on top of whatever else he's throwing for. So yeah, we've got Drake May here. Jeff, who do we got next?
Next up, we got Trevor Lawrence. A bit of a disappointing season this past year for Trevor Lawrence. They had Calvin Ridley, who wasn't as good as everybody thought he would. He left this offseason to go to Tennessee. They only brought in Gabe Davis offensively in free agency, so it hinders him a bit. But I really do think Jacksonville will bring in a wide receiver via the draft. Brian Thomas is somebody I think that they can get in the middle of the first round, which would be a really nice help to T-Law. I still believe in T-Law. I think he just had a down year.
Yeah, another thing to look at with Trevor Lawrence is that the Jacksonville Jaguars are looking to add a wide receiver. Reports came out that they were trying to trade for Ayuk just the other day. So hopefully they do follow through with that in maybe getting Ayuk or getting somebody else, just trading for some wide receiver that will help out Trevor Lawrence. So the next quarterback we're going to have is going to be Dak Prescott, who's going to round out our C tier. Dak Prescott's a little bit older than all these guys, but he does have a really good ceiling. As you saw last year, he put up really, really good numbers, and I don't really see that slowing down. He still has CeeDee Lamb. They're probably going to bring another wide receiver because they don't really have a wide receiver too there. Dak Prescott, a little bit older, so that's why he's down here, but he does have that good upside and a good floor too because we know he's a good quarterback, right? And we know that's going to offense that's going to throw the ball a lot. Dak, start off on D tier.
Yeah, so starting off this D tier, we've got Brock Purdy. Obviously, took him to the Super Bowl the past year. He was a really good fantasy quarterback, too, in that Shanahan offense. Obviously, he's got a lot of weapons around him, and he's guaranteed to start there for probably the next 2 seasons until his rookie contract is up. Whether they pay him or not, remains to be seen. It's down the line, but for now, we've got Purdy there in this D tier. Definitely guaranteed to start 2 years, and he's going to give you solid QB2, maybe QB1 upside week to week. But again, he doesn't have a big contract. We're not really sure if he's going to be there long term, so we're going to have him here in the D tier. We feel pretty good about that. Jeff, who do you got next?
Yeah, quarterback 17, Tua Tagovailoa. As long as Tua is attached to Tyreek Hill and Waddle, he's obviously going to produce fantasy-wise. He has 0 rushing upside, which is why he is in the tier that he is. If he had rushing upside, he'd probably be in the next tier. Really good passer of the football. As we are recording this now, he has not yet been extended. I don't know really what the plan is for that. McDaniel obviously is there. He could, like Shanahan, same tree, look to find another quarterback to give them a slight boost. Maybe he doesn't want to pay Tua. I don't really know, but for right now, we're not going to bake that into our rankings too much. Tua is going to be in this D tier, QB 17. As long as he's attached to Waddle and Hill, he'll be a solid fantasy starting option for anybody. Dalton, who do you have quarterback 18?
Quarterback 18 is going to be Deshaun Watson. Watson hasn't played a lot of football or very good football in a couple of years now, but we still do believe in Deshaun Watson just a little bit. We saw Joe Flacco come into the offense and chuck the ball all over the place last year. So maybe the hope is that Deshaun Watson will come in and maybe they'll start leaning more towards the pass with him and giving him that upside. They just brought in Jerry Jeudy, who's fine. We think Jeudy does have that upside because he did show the upside in college, but hasn't really shown that much in the NFL. Mark Cooper's there. Mark Cooper's a great wide receiver. David Njoku showed a lot of promise with Joe Flacco as well. Deshaun Watson does have that pretty good rushing upside as well. He's very hit or miss this year. This is his year to prove it. This is probably his last year to finally show if he's actually a good NFL quarterback or not. If he's not, he's probably might be back up next year. But I believe Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. But we got to bake that into his price that he also could be a bench player in a year. So Dak, round us off on our D tier.
So yeah, rounding out, we've got JJ McCarthy, and there's a lot of smoke about teams trading up to draft him within the top 5, maybe the Giants at 6. If a quarterback goes that high, especially in a super flex, you've got to take him this high. Yeah, he's a really good player too in his own right. Not even talking about draft capital. Led Michigan obviously to the national championship this past season. He's pretty athletic. Will have a nice rushing floor. Yeah, it's really the draft capital that's carrying this ranking. We expect him to be drafted that highly. The Vikings moving on from Kirk Cousins are a potential landing spot for him. Maybe the Broncos, if they want to pay the move up. Maybe the Giants take him. There's a lot of teams that need a quarterback, and we think that he's a good enough prospect to be taken in that top 5 to 6 of the NFL draft. So yeah, we're going to have him rounding out the end of the tier. Jeff, who starts next on?
To start off for E tier, we have Jared Goff, quarterback of the Lions. Really good offense to have players in for fantasy football. Jared Goff's throwing the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. Just a nice spot. He's under contract for a while. Jared Goff is one that lacks a bunch of upside with fantasy as he doesn't really run the ball, but he's a nice quarterback too to have on your roster, someone that's safe. Dalton, who do you have at quarterback 21?
21's going to be Bryce Young. First overall pick last year, had a abysmal rookie year, but we do believe that Bryce Young will turn it around at least a little bit. That's the hope at least. Obviously it's baked into his price that he might not turn around and might be trash in a year. He is getting an upgrade. They just brought in Deontay Johnson, who's a good wide receiver. I'm very happy with that. Hopefully in the draft they can add another player. They brought in Dave Canales, who did turn around Baker's career, so hopefully he can do the same for Bryce Young. He's a good player if you want to buy a cheap quarterback with good upside. Maybe someone is not high on him after they had him on the bench the whole year because he sucked. But, Bryce Young, solid player to have, good QB3 to have, I'd say. Dak, who we got next?
Yeah, we got Kirk Cousins next, who obviously just made that move over to Atlanta. It's not going to bump him up in our rankings because the landing spot is probably worse in Atlanta. You're leaving Justin Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, Kevin O'Connell, who's a great coach. It's tough to beat that situation around him, but Atlanta's pretty good. They've got London, they've got Pitts, they've got Bijan, so good weapons to work with there. He's 36, he doesn't have any rushing upside to speak of. He's just another solid QB2 that you like to build your team around. But yeah, nothing really remarkable about Kirk Cousins, but he's really nice to have as well. So, Jeff, what do you got next?
Yeah, next up we have Baker Mayfield, who just got that nice contract extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now has some job security for him moving forward. They just re-signed Mike Evans. They still have Godwin, still have Rashad White. They did lose Dave Canales, as we talked about before. Hopefully, Mayfield will be able to overcome that and still produce really well. Again, just like a bunch of the guys in this tier, just a nice quarterback, too, to have on your team, the backbone of your roster, rather. Dalton, who do you have at quarterback 24?
24 is going to be Matthew Stafford. Like most of these guys in this tier, they're a great QB3, a fine QB2. Stafford's still a really good player. He's just old. As long as he's playing them, he's going to be putting up decent points. He likes to throw the ball. They have Puka Nacua there. They got Cooper Kupp. It's exciting offense, pretty much. Kyron Williams is good, too. Great QB3, fine QB2 like the rest of these guys. Dak finishes off.
Yeah, so last on this list, we've got Will Levis. There's a lot of Will Levis haters out there. He didn't have a great year with Tennessee, but the offense around him also wasn't that good. They just brought in Calvin Ridley, so now you've got Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins. They just brought in Brian Callahan from Cincinnati to be the head coach, so you've got a coaching upgrade on the offensive side of the ball there. Maybe in Will Levis' second year, he turns it around. Remains to be seen. Nonetheless, he's a young guy, so we feel pretty good about taking a shot on him. With weapons around him, maybe he figures it out. I think he's pretty talented too. He doesn't have much rushing upside, but you can take a nice start throw on him, and then maybe he turns into a good QB2 in the future. He's definitely got this year guaranteed of starting, maybe another year after that. Depends on his performance, but yeah, we're gonna have Will Levis rounding out this tier.
Yeah, well, that's our quarterback rankings. We hope you enjoyed them. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Share this video to your friends, or maybe don't if you don't want them to get an edge on you in fantasy. We'll see you next time.